Let's start with the outlooks for the two teams. Again, I'm going to save my prediction for the end of the show. But what I think is so fascinating, and I alluded to this last week, that regardless of who got to the Super Bowl, once we got into the conference championship games, whether it was Cincinnati or Kansas City that came out of the AFC, or whether it was Philadelphia or San Francisco that came out of the NFC, we would get a matchup in the Super Bowl where one team has an all-world quarterback, a guy that, regardless of what's put around him, can carry you, get on my back, I'm going to take us to the promised land. And on the other hand, you have a team with a very good quarterback or a okay quarterback, a guy like Brock Purdy, Sturdy Purdy as I called him, with stacked rosters around them. In the case of Brock Purdy, he had Kyle Shanahan. Nick Sirianni certainly is no Kyle Shanahan, but he's no pushover as we've seen in his 2 years as the head man in Philadelphia. The two ways you can build a Super Bowl contender. Now, what does that mean? Well, what I think it means is that regardless of who wins this game, you are going to see the NFL, like any other sports league, is a copycat league. You are going to start to see the landscape of the league shift to the mindset of whoever won the Super Bowl. If the Kansas City Chiefs win the Super Bowl, the whole rest of the league's going to be saying, we like our guy, but he is not Patrick Mahomes. He's not even in the same ballpark. This guy's going to be winning Super Bowls for a long time. He may, I'm about to get my second segment, he may just put himself in the GOAT discussion sometime in the next 5 years. Who knows? Our guy isn't good enough to go toe-to-toe with him, regardless of what's put around him. That's if Kansas City wins. If Philadelphia wins, it's, yeah, you can have an all-world quarterback, but all you really need is a slightly above average quarterback to, in the case of Jalen Hurts, an excellent ascending quarterback who's probably never going to get to the level of a Hurts, a Burrow, or even an Allen or a Lawrence, but can win you a lot of games we've seen over the last couple of years. And if the pieces around him are right, can get you to the Super Bowl. Get the right quarterback, not an all-time talent like Patrick Mahomes, but get the right guy. Build the team around him. Get him all-star level receivers like an A.J. Brown, like a Devontae Smith. Even Quez Watkins, as I've said all season, has been a really good deep threat for him. Get him a solid tight end, Pro Bowl level tight end like a Dallas Goedert. Put the best offensive line in football around him, led by Jason Kelce and Lane Johnson. Defensively, the best pass rush in the NFL. Hassan Reddick getting big free agent pickups under the radar. Going out and getting James Bradbury to pair with your already elite corner, Darius Slay, Gardner Johnson, Avonte Maddox. All of these pieces that Philadelphia has put around their roster, all around Jalen Hurts, to make his job easier. What you're going to see, whoever wins the Super Bowl, is going to be a complete shift in how the league views how to contend for championships. It is. If you are, say, the Buffalo Bills have big expectations coming into this season. They have a top 3, top 4 quarterback in Josh Allen, an MVP level guy at his peak. You've got good wide receivers, running game and offensive line could use some work without a question, but an excellent defense. He added Von Miller. If Kansas City wins, you're like, okay, we can still beat them. Heck, we probably should have beat them a year ago in the divisional round. Let's run it back. We've seen that Josh Allen is one of the very few quarterbacks in the league that can go toe-to-toe with Mahomes, despite the flaws on the Buffalo Bills, and there are many. Philadelphia wins the Super Bowl, albeit the opposite conference. You're thinking if you're the Buffalo Bills, okay, yeah, we probably need to put more talent around Josh Allen. If you think about a team in San Francisco with Brock Purdy, whoever, Brock Purdy's not going to be their starting quarterback next year because of the UCL injury. Whoever their guy is next year, is it Trey Lance? Is it, I've suggested they go after Derek Carr. I think he's a perfect fit for Kyle Shanahan's offense. We'll see. If you are a team like, say, I don't know, how about the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers? If he comes back next year, if it's Jordan Love, the mindset of the league is going to change depending on who wins this year's Super Bowl. Is it, our quarterback isn't good enough, let's try and upgrade? For the record, the Rams did that a year ago, and look how that turned out. Got a Super Bowl out of it. Do we draft one? Do we trade for one? Who knows? If Philadelphia wins, well, yeah, Kansas City has the greatest quarterback talent we've ever seen and probably the best coach in the league, certainly the best offensive coach in the league, and Andy Reid. But Philadelphia has an absolutely stacked roster at just about every position, and a good coaching staff for that matter, and good special teams. Just try and stack the deck around our quarterback. He's good enough. If Jalen Hurts is good enough, surely our guy is. Now, for some teams, that's not the case, but for others, absolutely. So it's going to be very, very fascinating to see what happens over the course of the next 48 to 72 hours in terms of who wins the game, how they win the game, and how the league responds a month from now in the offseason, starting with free agency, and 2.5 months from now, starting in starting in the draft. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube. Be sure to click that big red subscribe button and go check out the other clips and full shows of Carving It Up Live. Have a blessed day.